What's up, metalheads? Welcome to the Scrap Metal Podcast, the show for the misfits who've been listening to the same music since high school. I'm your host, John von Frankenstein, and joining me today is my metal thrashing mad co-host, Chris. Chris, I gotta ask you, man, how you feeling?
I gotta say, I feel like the danger must be growing because the rowers keep on rowing, and they certainly aren't showing any signs that they are slowing.
Chris, are you living in a world of pure imagination? And does this have anything to do with how you're keeping your heavy metal street cred?
You know, it probably has nothing to do with my heavy metal street cred. But AI has quite the stranglehold on all of our imagination right now.
Oh, yeah.
And part of that was this Willy Wonka experience in Glasgow, where the advertisements were this crazy-looking AI art of a
Yeah.
candy land and a chocolate world and a true Wonka experience. And when people paid their, 45 euros, which is, I don't know how much in American, but, a lot.
Yeah.
And they show up to a warehouse that has, a Candyland, tablecloth taped up to a wall and the world's saddest Oompa Loompa behind a My First Chemistry set on a table.
Yeah.
It was just, and I was just so, I see the pictures and I'm like, this is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire life. It's just so
It was
funny.
so fucking out there.
And the more that came out about it, the more enthralled I was, and the more invested in this story I was. And this poor girl that played the Oompa Loompa, she puts out a statement about her experience because she's got friends and family telling her she's going viral and becoming a meme because she's not on social media. I think that apparently there was 2 Oompa Loompas there, and both actresses were on a British morning talk show to talk about their experience, and the whole thing is just insane. And then it turns out the dude who played Willy Wonka was handed a clearly AI generated script a half hour before showing up. I was like, memorize this. The dude is like, what? This is clearly just written by AI, and the art was created by AI, and it basically, revealed that this one guy that was running the whole thing was scamming people with AI and using AI artwork to steal people's money. But
it was Willy Wonka's Fire Fest.
Yes, pretty much.
Can we talk about the unknown?
Yes, the unknown.
Everybody's favorite fucking part about this thing.
Because the unknown was supposed to be the villain.
Yeah.
Which
Sure.
What? Clearly just AI making shit up. Some dude putting in a prompt, about Willy Wonka.
He was write an AI script about Willy Wonka, but he's an Avenger.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But I don't know about you. I've already got my unknown Halloween costume set up. It's
I have it in the back.
Yeah.
Yep. Dude's getting his own movie. That's how fucking insane this has gotten. But it just shows that AI is so advanced at this point, but I guess also not. You know what I mean? That someone would hinge their entire scheme on all this AI artwork that he's made and all this the AI generated scripts, and that everybody who was on the cast was this was batshit insane.
Yeah.
What we were handed minutes before we were supposed to let these people in.
Yeah, the whole thing has been crazy, and we're saying, the guy who was playing Willy Wonka also said the employment contract he signed was clearly AI. There were words that were not spelled correctly, and it's just so...
Christ.
It's so interesting that AI is getting to a point where the artwork is looking better.
Yeah.
It's looking more realistic. The writing clearly still isn't there, but who knows how much of that is even the guy is probably putting minimal effort because he's just trying to steal money from people. So he's probably not putting a lot of effort into getting a good AI script out of it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, but it's like you're seeing this argument come up more and more nowadays about like the artistry that goes into just creating art, being an artist, and how using AI to create art is not what being an artist is about. You're not an artist because you stole a bunch of someone else's paintings to create something that you prompted a computer to make. And there was like an interview recently with this guy who had him and his band had like an AI album cover. And he pretty much the sentiment he had was like, we don't need artists. We humans and emotion doesn't matter. It just matters that stuff looks and sounds cool. And that's like, what kind of fucking sentiment is that as an artist yourself, where you're like, yeah, I know I'm a musician, but it's okay if computers take my job. And like, I feel like you and I completely disagree with that sentiment, in that it takes so much skill and honing your craft to write, especially to write lyrics, which is so difficult to do. Anyone who's tried to sit down and write good lyrics that don't sound like something off of Kids Bop knows just how difficult that is. So Chris, you brought to me this great idea to talk about our favorite lyrics. That's what we're talking about today. We are talking about the artistry that goes into writing lyrics, what some of our favorite lyrics are. And for me, not being a lyric guy, how difficult this episode was to put together. Chris, are you excited to dive into the world of lyricism?
I am so excited. And like you're saying, I am also someone, I can write a lot of music. I've written a lot of music. I have an embarrassing amount of like half-written songs. And I've written like one good set of lyrics ever in my entire life. So It is incredibly hard to write good lyrics. And yes, I was inspired by a post I saw on Reddit, on the Slayer subreddit. A bunch of fans were like, hey, what are your favorite Slayer lyrics? And we're all talking about Slayer lyrics. And it was cool to see people in the comments talking about basically every era of Slayer, every album of Slayer was represented, which was kind of cool to see that fans were appreciating the entirety of their career. But I'm excited to talk about this because there's so many lyrics out there that are just so fucking cool and are so good. And whether it's just like really brutal or like really uplifting or just something that's like really relatable, it's really cool to listen to lyrics. I know there's been times in the past where I'm kind of like, the vocals are just kind of like another instrument. I'm not always super interested in what the lyrics are saying.
Right.
But when the lyrics are really fucking good and they really speak to you, it kind of amplifies how much I enjoy a song. Like I already enjoy a song, then the final line of this last verse turns out to be a banger line, and I'm like, now I just love the song even more. So I'm super excited to talk about lyrics today.
Awesome. Like I said at the top, I found this episode incredibly difficult to prepare for because I'm just not a lyrics guy. Sort of like you, I look at lyrics and the vocal performance sometimes as just another instrument. A lot of times I don't know half the lyrics to some of my favorite songs. And I often get them wrong. We've talked about this before. And so I found that what I like about lyricism tends to be the delivery, more so than the lyrics themselves. So it's like the performance behind how the lyrics are delivered is what really gets me, as opposed to the lyrics themselves. Now, when the lyrics are super meaningful or are just like really awesome lyrics, that's a plus right there.
Yeah.
But it was so difficult for me to like sit down. I felt like that Lisa Simpson meme where it's just like staring into the corner. Like, fuck, what the hell do I do? So being that, like, is that something, is like the lyrics to a song something that you connected with like right away when you started getting into music? Or is that something that kind of just like developed as you went on and developing your taste?
I think it's something that I developed as time went on, because I've talked about this before. At 3 years old, my favorite song was Paradise by the Dashboard Light by Meatloaf. And at 3 years old, I had no idea what those lyrics were about. I knew that there was a cool part where Phil Rizzuto is talking about a baseball game.
Yeah.
I know there's the cool part where I can't remember the female vocalist's name, where she's like, "Stop right there."
Yeah.
And like I knew that. And
Yeah.
I, knew all of that, but I had no idea what the song was actually about,
Yeah.
And I also loved a song like "We Didn't Start the Fire" by Billy Joel, which again, once I get older and read the lyrics, I realize, oh, he's talking about the history of the world in the United States that has happened throughout his lifetime.
Yeah.
Which, like, and then it's funny where it's like, yeah, the last 2 words of the last verse happened in my lifetime and everything else happened before I was born. So that's kind of funny about the song. But yeah, my interest in lyrics, I would say probably around the time I was a angsty middle schooler is when lyrics really started to mean anything to me. Before that, it was really just, again, "Born in the USA," one of my favorite songs when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I have no concept that song is about how shitty Vietnam vets are being treated when they come back. Like, I have no concept of that because I'm a child.
Yeah.
But then once I get older and I start understanding the meaning and the power of lyrics, that's when I start to appreciate it. And that's when, some of the music I started listening to, the lyrics meant more to me.
Yeah. Yeah. So why don't you start us off? Why don't you give us your first favorite set of lyrics?
So, like I said, I got this idea from the Slayer subreddit, and I put in my favorite lyrics, which is from the song "Epidemic" off of their 1986 album "Rain and Blood." As you could tell by the title, it is about a disease tearing through humanity. And my favorite line in this song, quite possibly one of my favorite lyrics ever, is the last line of the first verse: "Death machine infest my corpse to be." And there's something about corpse to be that I'm just like, that is so like brutal and fucked up. And on like a larger scale, also, like I'm saying, the song is about a disease destroying humanity. And it's almost like an acceptance, like, yeah, I'm going to die. Like, there's no, like, there's the last lines of the song is "years will pass before it can be cured." So like the whole song is about, where lots of people are going to die. And the idea, "death machine infest my corpse to be," like, it's just like, yep, just fucking kill me. Just, do your thing. Just kill me. That's it. That's the end of it. So that was one that I pointed out. It was funny in the subreddit. The top 2 upvoted comments were, for all of the various high-pitched screams Tom Araya has let out, which I'm not going to attempt. But he's done it multiple times, so that, and then the second highest was just "God Hates Us All" from Disciple. But there was a lot of different songs represented, and it was funny how, like, other than like "God Hates Us All," I don't know how many like repeat lines there were. It was a lot of like, someone would post a line and then someone would either finish the line or agree that it was their line, but all the comments were just different lines from different songs and different albums, so it was really cool. But since this was the lyric and the song and the subreddit topic that inspired it, I knew the first song I had to talk about was "Epidemic" by Slayer.
That's an awesome choice. That's that lyric, just the sentiment, like you said, of almost like resigning to the fact of like, yep, I'm gonna die. And like, it is what it is. It's like, we're not too far away from where a lot of the world must have felt that way. Unfortunately. But I love the way that a good set of lyrics will like really hype you up. Like, "God Hates Us All" is a great fucking lyric. Like, I recently went to a rage room with my wife and some friends of ours, and my friend Andy from the Roids Review podcast, check them out, joined us for this outing, and he picked "Disciple" by Slayer. And so it's like smashing china and like wine glasses to that lyric. I like couldn't help but like smash stuff to the beat. And like, I had to wait for that specific part before I hit anything, Because it's like, it just feels like you need to wait for that. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, it just gets something going in you, you know?
It's what I also love out of that song is the ending. I reject this fucking race. I despise this fucking place. Like, it's, I get it, Slayer. You fucking hate all of us. And you just so happened to release this song on 9/11. So, like, it's, that tracks. That makes sense.
Oh, man. So when I say that I'm not a lyrics guy, like I've said, I've brought this up in the past. I can't remember what episode this was. Maybe the heavy metal ASMR episode, previous episode, check it out, where I often blame the fact that I grew up learning to speak Spanish first, and then I learned English, for why I can't understand most lyrics. Unless I have the lyric sheet in front of me. And like when I was younger, I would do that all the time. I would sit down and like put an album on, you know, put a CD on my Walkman, sit in my room with my headphones on with the booklet and read along and like, you know, listen to these songs and memorize the lyrics. And there are so many songs that I do know the lyrics of, but it's tough when you say, what are your favorite lyrics? I feel like it has to be something that really speaks to you. And at least one example that I could think of came from Alice in Chains' song Down in a Hole. And I love the meme that I saw recently that was like, it's a picture of just a walnut, like busted open. And someone's like, yeah, I can't believe Alice in Chains saw this and was like, fuck yeah, this is real depressing. And I love not just Lane Staley's voice and the way that his voice blended so well with Jerry Cantrell's, but also the pain that was behind a lot of Lane's lyrics. A lot of their lyrics just felt so somber. And in Down in a Hole, there is one of the verses that they sing, down in a hole and I don't know if I can be saved. See my heart and it's decorated like a grave. You don't understand who they thought I was supposed to be. Look at me now, a man who won't let himself be. And I just like knowing Lane Staley's history and like just knowing about what he suffered through. I don't often get like very brooding, but this is one lyric that I love so much because there is so much vulnerability in it. And there's so much like bearing oneself to just kind of like let yourself be seen by your audience in that verse alone. Yeah. And I love stuff like that. You know, you mentioned before where it's like when you have some lines that are just bangers and it's just that one line in there, you don't understand who they thought I was supposed to be. Just anytime I hear it. I remember one time I'm in the car with my wife and I'm playing this song and I'm in the middle of singing it and like a call comes through on my Bluetooth and it cuts the song off. And I'm like, you don't understand who they thought I was supposed to be. And like, then it's just silence in the car as the phone starts to ring. And I'm like, oh, okay, sorry. I was like being covered up by the music and suddenly I'm just naked in front of a classroom. But yeah, I love that. I love that. And I know that you are not a huge grunge fan. Yeah. But like, do you know what I mean? Where sometimes you do have those like real down on me sort of lyrics that just maybe they don't speak to you personally, but you can feel the message that the artist was trying to get across and the emotion that the artist was trying to get across. Oh, yeah, definitely. I know there was a time in my life where I was listening to a lot of really sad and depressing lyrics and lyrics about, you know, not feeling like you fit in or not feeling like a success or whatever it is. I'm just a kid and life is a nightmare. Actually, a lot of it was Weezer and Make Believe has a lot of like bummer songs and I know like Pinkerton has a lot of bummer songs on it. Mm-hmm. But then Weezer also comes out on the Red Album, I'm the Greatest Man That Ever Lived, which like it's not ironic. He's literally talking about why he's the greatest man that ever lived. But yeah, I totally get that where you hear lyrics and it's like what's also been an interesting phenomenon is I'll listen to a song dozens of times. Mm-hmm. And then one day I'll be in the right mood
and suddenly I'll hear a line and I'm like, oh fuck. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That does it. That's it for me. Yep.
Yep.
That makes sense now. And it's always funny when that happens, when it's like, I've listened to this song how many fucking times?
Right.
But for some reason now I was in the right mood, I was in the right state of mind that these lyrics hit, and I'm like, oh, yep, I get it.
Yeah, that just adds a whole other layer on top of your enjoyment of a song or an appreciation for the artist behind the lyrics. Yeah, no, I love stuff like that. Chris, get us out of this bummer mood. Give us another fucking banger, another set of your favorite lyrics.
So, someone that I know I've talked about on this podcast that I love is Andrew WK. And he has a lot of really positive and uplifting lyrics. The end of the song, Totally Stupid, has a lot of really great lines, and it's something like you were mentioning before. It's not just the lines he's saying, but also how it's being delivered. And the end of the song, Totally Stupid, has this epic feeling to it, and it's just got this great feeling to it. But the song I actually want to talk about is the song The End of Our Lives off of The Wolf. The last line of the song, or one of the last lines of the song, is just because this life ain't easy doesn't make it bad. And I've always loved that. And I remember the first time I heard Andrew WK say that wasn't in this song. He just said it in he had some TV show on MTV or something where he would go around and talk to people and interview people. And I remember him reading a letter from someone or talking to someone, and he said, just because life ain't easy doesn't make it bad. And I was like, oh man, I wish I could feel that 100% of the time. I wish I just always felt that way, because I don't. And there's times where I need this song to help me feel better. But I wish I could feel that unending optimism all the time. That would make life so much easier. But it's such a cool line, and it's such a cool message. And like I said, so much of Andrew WK's music is very positive and uplifting and fun. And it's this, arena rock feel. So you've got the big feeling, and you've got this, he has a song called We Want Fun. If that doesn't tell you the type of fucking artist Andrew WK is, I don't know what to tell you. That's the type of guy he is, the type of persona he puts out there, the type of music he's making. So to have this song where, the last line of the song is trying to, help someone who needs to hear it, just because this life ain't easy doesn't make it bad. That, I think that's a line that can resonate with a lot of people. So that's why I knew I had to talk about this song, The End of Our Lives by Andrew WK.
I love that. I love that your honesty, that it's I don't always feel this positive. But that you could throw a song on and that it'll remind you that just because life ain't easy doesn't make it bad. That is so awesome. And that's exactly what we're talking about is I don't know, for anyone to feel hey, the scope of human emotion doesn't matter in music, especially in heavy metal. That's a sentiment that I feel we have to fight against so much, right? People just saying oh, you're screaming music, and it's just, you're not even saying anything important. How can you understand anything that they're saying? They're just screaming and making noise. And then you've got these really impactful lyrics. Sure, Andrew WK is not growling these lyrics, but there are artists who can write. I mean, look at all of Gojira's catalog. Yeah. They are the French environmentalist band that loves whales. And their lyrics are so incredible, and it's like I said, it's a sentiment that we have to fight against so much. So to just hear someone say emotion doesn't matter when you're writing lyrics, and your experiences as a human aren't going to make a song better. And it's no, it's why people connect with music. It's why people connect with lyrics, and why you have these lyrics that people get tattooed on themselves. Yeah. You know what I mean? They connect with a lyric that strongly that they want to display it on their body. And there is something about an arena full of people screaming out lyrics to a song all together
Yeah.
that just like it makes you realize just how great they are. And like I didn't intend for this episode to be all like really bummer lyrics, but so again, what I really love, sometimes it's not so much the lyrics, but the way that the lyrics are delivered, just like you said, and the performance behind it. And I really love like shotgun lyrics.
Yeah.
Where it's just, I'm going to say all this stuff super, super fast and it's going to like sound really fucking cool. And we get that in the song World So Cold by Mudvayne. I fucking love this song. It is so like quintessential, like angsty teen, like, oh, this world is so cold and there's no compassion here and everyone is in it just for themselves, and when did we lose this connection that we have with one another? So getting to see Mudvayne perform this song with this message that is very much like we have to remember to like hold on to one another and lift each other up and not forget about our fellow man. It just felt amazing to be screaming all these lyrics with this arena full of people who are so excited to see the comeback of Mudvayne.
Yeah.
Like that has to be one of the highlights of my concert going life, is getting to see them on this like grand return that they had. And so the lyrics that I love, the block of lyrics that I love, come within the peak of the song. It's the whole song, it like starts out really slow and sort of mellow, and then it just builds to this real big part in the middle of the song where Chad is just screaming about, you know, why does everyone feel like my enemy? I don't want to be part of this depression or darkness. I've had enough. I'm sick and tired. Bring the sun or I'm gone. And then he runs into this fucking, like, sprints like Usain Bolt through this next set of lyrics. He goes, and I'm not going to be able to do it at the speed that he does it because it's fucking incredible. This was one of those albums where I would sit there and, like, read along with the fucking lyrics sheets. Like, I'd have to look them up online because I don't think they had the lyrics in this booklet for this album. But he goes, I'm backing out. I'm no pawn, no motherfucking slave. Never lived, never left, never lived, never loved, never lost, never hurt, never worried about being me or anyone else. And it's just never will be me or anyone else, no concern, none of the, and like just that shotgun of never lived, never left, never not. Yeah. Like when I get to that part, like my wife saw how excited I was to scream these lyrics. She actually cried. She cried in the club, watching me be excited about fucking Mudvayne. And like, because she saw how excited I was seeing this band that I loved for so long. And just like everyone is next to each other and you're just like looking at each other, like screaming out these fucking lyrics at the same time. And it's like, none of us actually did it. None of us actually get the lyrics right in that point. It's just too fast. It's fucking impossible. But yeah, sometimes you just have like, it's the performance, it's the emotion, it's just that shotgun fucking delivery. Yeah. And there's a lot of meaning behind the lyrics. They don't always have to have meaning. And that point will come up a little bit later on for me. But I just, can you think of a set of lyrics that you love that are just like fucking machine gun, just like blasting them out as fast as you possibly can?
So I do want to talk about it because I'm not sure I'm as familiar with the song you're talking about from Mudvayne, but I do remember there's a part, and I want to say Not Falling, right before the chorus, where he kind of says some really fast lyrics, and it's something like the mill-pill path to sit like a sun by a star in the sky and just breathe or something like that.
Yes.
Like there's that part. Yeah. And then at the end,
dude, he's so fucking good at that.
It's crazy.
He does it in Under My Skin as well, off of LD50. It's like the middle section where he's like rapping.
Yeah.
That's so fucking good. He's so good at that.
Yeah, and I know another example that, like, I'm pretty sure the lyrics I read online are either missing words or the singer is adding syllables that don't exist. Because at the end of Desecrator by Exhorter, the lyrics as I remember them being are placid world once alive, dig your grave, jump inside, never trust, never love, give something, kill, rape, hurt, steal, no living time to heal, desecrate, die. Right. And at the end, it just sounds like desecrate, die. And I'm like, he's saying like 40 words in like 2 seconds. And like, it feels like there's something missing there.
Yeah.
But like as you're talking about it, that's kind of what it made me think of. But another band I want to talk about, because they kind of represent the duality of man, and that is Anthrax. They have songs that are serious, you know, a song like Indians about, you know, the plight of the Native Americans, a song like Keep It in the Family, which is calling out racism. There's a great line in that. I'll give you a state of unconsciousness. That I really love.
That's like your mom screaming at you from across the living room. I'll give you something to cry about.
But then they also have a song like I'm the Man, where they rap the banger line, farts the farts the farts he farted. I pick my nose, but I'm not retarded. And so you have this band, like it's get you a man who can do both, you know? Like that's what it is.
Yeah.
But the song I actually want to talk about that has some very serious lyrics that I absolutely love is the song Zero Tolerance off of their latest album For All Kings.
Nice, yeah.
In the middle, there's this kind of like breakdown in this bridge section, and Joey says, on the day you meet your God, what will he say? Zero tolerance for extremism in the name of religion. Zero tolerance for racial hate, the police state. Zero tolerance for politicians on the left and the right. Zero tolerance for killing children. What would your God say to that, motherfucker? And like, I love this idea of calling out, in this case, religion, and using religion to justify terrible things. Right. And I love that they are using, you know, that they're able to get that message across. I also love when like Slayer and X-Hoarder cut right to the chase and say, fuck your God. But yeah. I also love the way that Anthrax is able to say it in a way that's a little bit more creative, I guess.
Right. A little bit more nuanced.
Yeah. And I love the idea that it kind of feels like a spiritual successor to Keep It in the Family, which is calling out racism. This is like zero tolerance. It's like, no, we will not tolerate any of this. Like, it's not in any way, shape, or form are we okay with this type of attitude and this way of treating people. And I love that this song is able to convey that message. And of course, I'm also going to love that they're like calling out God and being like, you know, like, yeah, you're doing this in the name of God, and God would even be like, you're a fucking piece of shit. So like, I love that they're able to take it in that way. So it's, I couldn't not talk about Zero Tolerance by Anthrax.
Yeah. See, like you said, there is the duality of man, where it's like, all right, someone like Slayer and, you know, a band like Twin Temple can write these lyrics and being like, fuck your organized religion, like fuck all of this. And then where it's like it's very in your face and to the point, but then you've got that, you know, Anthrax trying to have a little bit more nuance with it. Yeah. And saying the same thing, but trying to say a little bit more. You know, trying to like stick it to you a little bit more.
It's because I
love that.
I think what's interesting is that like Slayer and Kerry King specifically is going against Catholicism specifically.
Right.
X-Hoarder. The name of the album is Slaughter in the Vatican. The album cover is the Pope being dragged to a gallows. They are also going against the Catholic Church when they say "fuck your God." Yeah. And I feel
do you think that they made their confirmation?
And even with Twin Temple, you know, they are using the Catholic idea of Satan and hell and worshiping that version of Satan. Yeah. What I like about Zero Tolerance is that they're not calling out a specific religion. It's specifically zero tolerance for extremism in the name of religion, not a religion. And I think that's what I really like about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, I love that. It's like, all right, here that you bring up I'm the Man, and just how ridiculous that song. I fucking love that song so much.
Oh, it's so good.
And just the
yeah,
like those samples are so fucking good.
Oh yeah, because
watch the beat. It's so fucking
there's
good.
So many samples because I'm pretty sure that's Sam Kinison. They
Yeah,
sample.
yeah.
They sample Master from Master of Puppets.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
there's so much. And what's it? There's like mail the mail he mailed. We are the kings and all shall hail. Like it's so. Oh, and it's because I listened to it and it reminded me of the time when they played the first verse live. I saw them live, and I don't know if it was something that they were doing on the tour, but like Charlie would play that opening drum beat.
Yeah.
And the whole crowd would yell, "Not!"
Yeah.
And then we'd wait, and then they'd go play another song. And then he does it again. We're like, "Not!"
Yeah.
And they don't do it. And then he does a drum beat, and we're like, "Not!" And he keeps doing it, and they go into the whole fucking first verse, and like the crowd sang the verse at them, like they didn't sing it. So like I don't know if that's a thing that they were doing the entire tour. I don't know if that's a thing that like Charlie would be like, all right, let's see how into it the crowd is. Like if it feels like the whole crowd knows what I'm doing, we're gonna do it. If they don't know what I'm doing, then fuck it, we're not doing it.
Yeah, exactly. But that's exactly what I mean is like just the ridiculousness of a line like that, and then just also having the energy of the entire arena behind them, pretty much, right? So I made mention of how much I love shotgun delivery of lyrics or machine gun delivery of lyrics, and no one does fast-paced, ridiculous lyrics like Wayne Static of Static X. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. I fucking love Static X so much. We've talked about this before, but it's you've got it in songs like Fix, tune it in, chill out, drop dead, I need a fix, tune it in, chill out, drop dead, I need a fix. And like that just like repetitive nature of it, but it's the rhythm. It's the rhythm with which the lyrics are delivered that make it feel like another instrument, like you said right at the top of the episode, which I love that so much. To me, at that point, it doesn't matter what you're saying because I don't know what you're saying and I can't fucking keep up. So in my head, whenever the song comes on, it's just digga, 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 And so Static X's song Monster off of their third album, Shadow Zone, is a fucking banger. Not only does it start with a really cool sample, it has a really fucking kick-ass riff. It has these like the most danceable fucking rhythm that just like gets you hyped up, like it feels like a techno song. But the lyrics are ridiculous. I remember when this album first came out and like I got a special packaged album. So it was like the CD and like a DVD to show you like behind the scenes stuff. And there's a shot of Wayne recording the lyrics to this song. And he's like, this is the Ribbit song. Ribbit, 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 ribbit. Because that's exactly what it sounds like. He sings breathing, killing, seething, willing, fighting, biting, hating, waiting for you, don't you, won't you, don't lie. And it's like, it's the it's just the fucking rhythm that just like it becomes a whole other rhythmic instrument itself. And then even the chorus itself, in your eyes see all the lies, the alibis that I despise. In your eyes see all the lies, the alibis that I despise. And it's just the repetitiveness of it. But again, it's just delivered in such quick succession that like only he could do that. And I just it's so fun, and it's so, like I said, it doesn't even matter what he's saying at that point. He could have legit recorded ribbit, 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 ribbit in his fucking voice, and I would still listen to it, and it'd still be that good of a fucking song. It gets me so hyped up anytime I fucking listen to it. And that's why I love Static X. Like, Static X coined the term evil disco, and they are so deserving of that title because it's what it feels like. It's just this hard-hitting, dance-oriented metal that like combines a lot of the industrial stuff. It combines a lot of the techno and like the real chill type stuff. And then you've just got craziness like Monster. And it just, I love the performance. I love the way that it's recorded onto the album. And I love that we have that little like behind the scenes look that they're all like joking around. Like, this sounds fucking ridiculous. I think that's another cool thing too, that like you get to see that the band's sort of like this. I don't know how this is going to get, how this is going to go over, but hopefully the people like it. Have you ever like listened to any Static X?
I think I heard Love Dump in the classic video game Brutal Legend. And I seem to remember on like Fuse or Much Music seeing a Static X music video, but like I haven't listened to a lot, but I feel like I've heard at least a song or two at some point.
I feel like what makes for the best type of nonsensical lyric is gonna be the lyric that just becomes another rhythmic instrument, because you can get away saying the dumbest shit.
Yeah.
As long as it has a good rhythm behind it and it fits in with the rest of the music, as long as it's something that's going to hype people up. It's not that it doesn't matter what the lyrics say. I don't want to say that, because I feel like then I'm agreeing with this dude who's talking about just like, could AI write ribbit, 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 ribbit? Yeah, sure. But I don't think that AI would be able to put the fucking bite behind it that Wayne Static delivers in this song. And that's what I mean is like, even though I'm saying it doesn't matter what he was saying in that moment, because I just look at it as another percussive instrument, the fact that there are lyrics in there that he has to spit out, that he has to enunciate, that's what makes it impressive. You know, like we've heard Elizabeth from the Charismatic Voice talk about this all the time. The diction and the phonation, like getting to actually get these lyrics out and to get them out clearly, and how much skill that takes, and how hard it is to do it well, and how hard it is when you're now ramping up the speed with which you're doing it, is what makes stuff like this really, really fun for me.
You bring up a great point about diction and enunciating and getting the words out, and getting the words out at an increasing speed. And a set of lyrics that I love, probably more because of the delivery, but the lyrics themselves are pretty cool, is in the middle of Overkill's Evil Never Dies.
Nice, yes.
This is off of their 89 album, The Years of Decay, and in the middle of the song, it goes into this kind of like breakdown riff.
Yeah.
But then the breakdown riff starts to speed up.
Yeah.
And then Bobby Blitz comes in, and he says, money-hungry, power-thirsty, penny-pinching, fear-inflicting, double-crossing, backstabbing, promising eternity for a price-sucking, brainwashing, mind-raping, soul-stealing, constant preaching, salvation-reaching, lowest form of human fucking life. Evil never dies! And I fucking love that part. It gets so fast, and it's just like, he's like, oh, I fucking love it. Like, it's just, it's so cool.
It's... Bobby Blitz is another one. Yeah. It's like, it's so impressive to be able to get out that sort of, how does he remember all of it?
Yeah.
Forget not just the delivery, but how do you remember all of the lyrics and get them out effortlessly every single time? You know, and like, fuck, when you think about how difficult, because now he is depending on the band to keep the pace kind of going.
Yeah.
You know, especially if they're performing it live. Like, he's probably thinking in the back of his head, like, don't start ramping up the tempo too quickly. Don't start ramping up the tempo too quickly. Like, let it fucking build. Because you've got to ease into that sort of stuff. Oh, that part of the song. As soon as you said it, I knew exactly what you were going for.
And there's, oh my God. And then there's even in the verse right after this, the end of the verse, he has lines, heard a sound, no one there, heard a shot, no one cares. And like, I love that too. Like, it's just, everything about this song is so fucking good. And like, these lyrics in the middle are great. And I also love how the song just ends. Like, he's in the middle of yelling dies.
Yeah.
And it just cuts off. And I've heard like live versions, and like they do the same thing. Like, he just cuts off. And like, I love that. But yeah, this middle part is just, it's so cool. And like you're saying, I think a part of it is speeding up and the riff getting faster. And it's like, oh, you can hear that he's like pissed off about whoever he's talking about. And like, it's whatever he's talking about. Like, yeah, evil never dies. Like, that's the point. And it gets so fast. He yells that. Then it goes into another really fast verse. And like, it's just fucking cool. It's we will never stop talking about how much we love Bobby Blitz. Like, that's all we can say at this point.
Oh my God, what was it? Episode 4, our alternate reality Big 4 episode where we talked about making the I Love Bobby Blitz t-shirts.
Exactly.
Please comment if you guys would buy I Love Bobby Blitz t-shirts. Let us know if you guys would actually invest in this, and we'll fucking make them. Chris, do you have anything else that you want to bring up?
So we've talked about lyrics where, you know, it's something that's uplifting. We've talked about lyrics where they're delivered in a specific way. We've talked about lyrics that I just think are really fucking cool. A band I've talked about in the past is the band Hexen. And in our Heavy Metal Heartbreak episode, I mentioned their song Mutiny and Betrayal. He has a line along the lines of, only your death will put my soul to rest, because it's about like getting revenge on someone. But they also have a song off of that same album, State of Insurgency, called Gas Chamber, which is about being a serial killer who's going to be executed. And like one of the first lines, or I think it's like the end of the first verse, he says, I told the families that I had fucking fun. And, like, I love that because, like, that's such a horrible thing to say.
Yeah.
But then later in the song, he says a line that I don't know if it really makes sense, but I fucking love it. He says, now dig me my infernal bedroom, wide and 10 feet deep. The extra 4 is just in case I cannot fall asleep. Gas chamber. And, like... It's this idea. So I can see that you're doing math in your head and you're puzzling right now.
What is he like 4 feet tall?
What he's saying is, so typically you're buried 6 feet under.
Yeah.
He's saying bury him 10 feet under so that he has an extra 4 feet in case he can't fall asleep. I guess the idea is that, like, if he can't go to sleep, he needs more room for activities, I guess.
It's like, is he getting up and pacing on his knees? Like, why is it just 4 feet?
But like,
make it 12. What are you hunched over?
I don't know, dude.
Is it an apartment? Is he asking for another 4 feet so that he has an apartment down there below the dirt?
I don't know, dude.
How does he build a roof? I have so many fucking questions now.
I just think it's so, like, I remember reading the lyrics and being kind of like that's
a dumb lyric.
Like
that was an AI written lyric.
It's dumb in a way that's like trying to be edgy, but you're not sure what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's like, and like I still love it.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's a great fucking line if you don't think about it too much.
Exactly.
Because it's cool. It's like, give me another 4 in case I can't fall asleep.
Like,
and I'm like, yeah, I hear that, but then the gears start turning.
Yeah, like it's really because the whole point of the song is that he does not feel bad. Yeah. So the idea is kind of like, yeah, you can bury me as deep as you want. I don't give a shit. Yeah. And like, that's the edgy idea they're going for. But once you start trying to logic out, like, wait, so what? Why 4? And like, why the line about being asleep other than sleep rhymes with deep? Like,
yeah, who is he? Fucking John Bender? I don't care. Give me another 2 weeks. All right, you just bought yourself another 2 in detention. I got you for a whole 2 months. Oh my God.
All this to say, I fucking love Hexen, and this album is amazing. This song is amazing. But yes, don't think too hard about the lyrics of Gas Chamber, because it may not make sense.
It'll hurt your head. I love that. I love that I had to think about it that fucking hard. 'Cause why? Why not just make it another 6 feet? Well, because he's not going to be walking around.
I don't fucking know.
I'm thinking too hard. Thinking too hard.
It's just...
Oh my God. He's like extra tucked in. It's like having the AC on and the blankets and a fan going is basically what he's trying to say. Like, make me more comfy, add more dirt, add another 4 feet, and I'll be more comfortable.
What he needs a weighted blanket is what he's saying.
6 feet of dirt isn't enough. How much more fucking weight? Jesus Christ. I wonder if everyone in the studio, when he recorded it, like he brought the line to them and he like tracked that line, and everybody's in the studio like, give me another 4. Oh, okay. I get it, but
The thing is also, I feel that the world was a different place in 2008, and maybe him and his friends in 2008, I was a different person in 2008. In 2008, I would have been like, bro, these lyrics are fucking genius. You are the edgiest motherfucker I've ever met. Now let's go post this on MySpace and hang out at the mall and buy t-shirts at Hot Topic. Like, I'm going to buy an Auntie Anne's pretzel and we're going to fucking high five over you being buried 10 feet deep because you're extra fucked up. That was me in 2008, all right? You knew me at that point in time.
Yeah.
You knew me.
For whatever reason, the image of the Auntie Anne's pretzel. That really fucking did it. That really did it. That fucking took me out. The fucking pretzel. Because you're right. That was every fucking mall rat. It was you either went and you got Auntie Anne's pretzel and a fucking lemonade, or you went and you got fucking Charlie's cheesesteaks and just like shit your brains out for the rest of the fucking afternoon at the mall bathroom.
Sometimes I could get it. There was also another pretzel place at the mall I usually went to that also sold giant chocolate chip cookies. And I would get a giant chocolate chip cookie. Go to the FYE that had an arcade in it at the time. And go play fucking air hockey. And listen to, 30 seconds of a Guar song in the fucking listening booth.
30 seconds of every fucking track on an album and be like, nah, I'm not getting this. Chris, I've had a lot of fun talking about some of our favorite lyrics. Do you have one more set of lyrics for us for your suggestion this week?
I do have a suggestion. Before I get to the suggestion, I have an honorable mention because I love this line far too much to only mention it in one episode. I had previously talked about in our Women in Metal episode my love of the song Seneca Falls by the Distillers. And there is a fantastic line in that song that I think everyone should know about and everyone can probably relate to. I don't steal the air I breathe. And I've always loved that message. For those of you that don't know, the song is about women's suffrage. She sings about Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton. Like, it's such a cool song with a cool message, and I've always loved that line. I don't steal the air I breathe, so I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that. I felt like I can't talk about my favorite lyrics and not talk about that.
Yeah.
So that's my honorable mention, but for my actual suggestion this week, I suggest everyone listen to the Streetlight Manifesto song, The Hands That Thieve. This is off of their album, The Hands That Thieve, and the reason this is my suggestion is because all of the lyrics are amazing. And I couldn't pick one specific line to say, oh, this is the lyric that I like, because I was listening to a song and I'm like, yeah, that opening line is sick, where he says, I felt no guilt till I was caught and I was told that I was guilty. And even then I wasn't really sure. And I was like, yeah, that's a good fucking line. And then in the second verse, he's like, I felt no pain till I was down and I was told that I was bleeding. And even then I knew I wasn't done. I'm like, you know what? That's also a really cool line. And then in that same second verse, he says, I will fight till I've died or all my enemies are allies. And even then I'll sleep with an open eye. I'm like, fuck, I'm just going to recommend the whole fucking song, because it's so cool. And the song feels like, as you listen to the whole song, that it is about rebellion or fighting fighting for what you believe in. And, you get to the chorus where he says, I don't care if I lose because all my heroes did too. They shouted court should be adjourned because the jury are fools and the judge can't decipher his left from his right or his right from his wrong. And I've always loved that. Can't decipher his left from his right or his right from his wrong.
Damn.
He says, and what I also love is the hands that thieve. The line he says is, we will bite the hand that thieves. And I like, instead of bite the hand that feeds, which is like a bad thing, you don't do that. Bite the hand that thieves is almost like you're taking something from us. And he says, this isn't a threat, it's a promise. We will do this. We will bite the hand that thieves. And I love that. And at the end of the song, where it's kind of like, oh, that's another thing I didn't include in my notes. Towards the end of the song, he has a line, someday we'll lose the war, but till then we'll dream of winning. And it's kind of like fighting a rebellion that you're not sure you're not going to see the result of. Like, it's almost like dying for something knowing that you will not see this succeed, but by fighting, you'll ensure that people in the future will continue to fight for it. And I feel like something that furthers that message is at the end of the song, he says, I won't forget the things you said when I was down and tired of it. The words you spoke brought me home. And then a little bit later, he says, you said, don't look back. And then there's like gang vocals saying, don't look back, don't look down. We've come too far, we're too high off the ground. The bridge is burned, the lesson learned. And it's this idea to me that it's like, we fought and I may not see the success we've had, but you're telling me that we've had this success. So I'm going to keep fighting for this. And I love that. So that's why I know I just read all the lyrics to you, but listen to the fucking song anyway. Please go listen to this song, The Hands That Thieve by Streetlight Manifesto.
God damn. You had to end with something super, super profound to make me feel like a fucking idiot for what I'm about to say. Oh, boy. So, as I've discussed my penchant for mishearing lyrics constantly, one of my favorite songs with a misheard lyric is the song Rational Gaze by Meshuggah. And I told Chris how excited I was to learn that there are more people who have misheard a specific lyric in this song. Now, Meshuggah is one of those bands where I don't really pay attention to the lyrics. It's more so about the music for me. And, like, I'll bark out whatever I think Jens Kidman is saying, but in the song Rational Gaze, I've never been able to shake the feeling that he talks about juice. I always thought he said something like, our line juice, gimme your juice, something, something, something substance. And so I look up the song and I'm like, I wonder if anyone else has ever heard this lyric. And there's a Reddit post that says, it's actually, I like juice, finish your juice, filtered vitamin substrate. And I'm like, that's exactly what it sounds like he's saying. But the line is actually, our light-induced image of truth filtered blank of its substance. I still like the juice line. I'm going to go with my originally misheard lyric, because that's now what feels more comfortable to me. That misheard lyric is my weighted blanket.
That's your extra 4 feet.
Yes, that's my extra 4 feet. I love this song so much. It's just, I remember, like, me and my friends, we used to, like, do this stupid, like, sort of Matrix dance in the hallway. It'd be like, oh, it's the Rational Gaze dance. Because he, like, the music video is just them doing that, like, the fucking bullet time fucking Matrix move. And this fucking juice line, I've always loved it. So check out Rational Gaze by Meshuggah. Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Scrap Metal Podcast. The time has come for us to pack up our gear, but we'll be back to rock out with you in the next episode.
Stay metal, everyone.
Good night.